everyone, welcome to a new episode of In Other Words with Danielle and Zara.
So this is a podcast where we talk about a wide variety of different subjects, from hustle culture to what we wish our parents knew. So in other words, we talk about all the things. Right. So today, for this episode, for the local brand that we want to promote, it is a small clothing brand, a South African brand, obviously, and it is run by my friend Nina, who is in my class. Shout out to you if you're listening. And it is called Toucan. On Instagram, it's Toucan ZA. So, and it's Toucan as in TWOCAN.
Yes.
ZA. Yes. And they make t-shirts with little embroidered toucans on them. And what's really cool about them, what I really like, is that 40% of the profits go towards a local charity. Mm-hmm. And you can actually choose which profit you want to donate to based on the color of the shirt that you buy.
Yes.
And the shirts are made out of 65% plastic and 35% recycled cotton. So it's a really awesome initiative. I haven't bought from them yet, but you know that I will. But I really thought it would be cool to let you guys know about them.
Yes, we're all about sustainable
Exactly.
Cool. So today we are excited about this episode.
Yes.
We like to get controversial from time to
Oh,
time.
yes.
So today you got a little taste of this in our very first episode,
Mm-hmm.
but today we are doing a full episode on our unpopular opinions.
Indeed.
And when we spoke about this beforehand, we realized that we agreed on everything.
Yeah. So don't know how unpopular they are,
Yeah.
but these are just thoughts that we have.
Yes. So do you want to start?
Very well. Okay.
Very well.
My first unpopular opinion, and I know that this is unpopular because so many people still do this, and it is that tanning is bad for you and that it is overrated. And I'll tell you why. Approximately 90% of the damage that happens to your skin is from the sun, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously the sun is really good for you. You should go outside. You should spend some time in the sun. But sitting in the sun for hours on end in minimal clothing is not good. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, leads to premature aging and it leads to skin cancer. So my whole thing is what's the point, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's quite an interesting thing really, because you know, this idea that you want to be tanned in the summer and all that, it's very much linked to classism as well.
Really?
Yeah. Because I mean, back in the day, right, it was the in thing to be pale, because if you were darker skin, it meant you worked outside, you were poor, whatever. Yes. But now everyone wants to be tanned because it means that you have the money to go away and to spend all your time out. So it's do you want to contribute to a society that says that? Think about that. I'm just joking.
So what are your thoughts of someone who genuinely just, because I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. I think okay, if you don't care about skin cancer, a lot of people don't, surprisingly. That's why a lot of dermatologists or whatever will rather say, hey, you should wear SPF every day so that you don't get wrinkles. Yeah. And that's the thing, there's nothing wrong with wanting your skin to have a glow from the sun, and you will most likely still get a little tan from, just going outside and being a person.
Even just driving in your car.
Literally. In fact, there's actually a really cool photo of a guy who was a truck driver for many, many, many years. Mm-hmm. And the one side of his face is completely wrinkled and the other one is not.
Wow.
And that is from sun damage,
Crazy.
So if you want a healthy glow, then get a fake tan. I'm not saying go to a tanning bed. Those are even worse. Do not do that.
Should I do what Ross did in France?
Yes. But you can buy quite nice fake tan things, and you can still get that look without the skin damage. But speak to your dermatologist. Wear your sunscreen, people. Not enough people wear sunscreen.
I don't.
But you have an SPF in your moisturizer, and you
is
don't
true.
go outside a tremendous amount.
No, I'm a granny. I stay at
Exactly. But even if you're just in your house the whole day, but if you sit by a window, just put on an SPF in the morning. Yeah. Be safe. You don't want unnecessary consequences.
No. Or just be born tanned like me.
Exactly. Perfect. It's so easy.
Okay. By the way, please interact. Let us know if you think what we're saying is absolute rubbish. Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah. Just don't be harsh, because I'll cry. I'm joking.
Okay. So my unpopular opinion, my first one, is influencing social media is a valid job.
Ooh.
So I am one of those people who for the longest time was quite critical of people.
Yeah.
And like, I won't lie, it still frustrates me when I watch a video or something and all people are doing is promoting things.
Yes.
Or someone's like, so you've been asking about my skincare routine, but like has
no one
anyone
has
asked?
Yeah.
So I understand that it can be frustrating. However, there is this perception that, for example, even if your job is to run social media accounts for brands or whatever, it's kind of seen as like that's not a real job.
Yeah.
But if I tell you that I'm a marketing agent for a firm or for a company, then you see it as a real job.
Yeah.
But the reality is that
it's all like the same thing.
it is exactly the same thing. And people, where do they spend their most time? Like on social media.
Yeah.
So if there is ever going to be a place where you're going to see a product or see something that you want, it's going to be on social media. I mean, previous forms of advertising doesn't work anymore.
Exactly,
no one buys the newspaper.
Yeah.
No one really watches network television where you have adverts in between. So the only place that people can really push their products is online.
Exactly. No, I completely agree with you.
So, and the reality is that if I see someone using a product and it's someone that I like and they tell me that it's good, I'm going to be more
inclined to buy it.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's a great way for brands to promote their products as well, because a lot of these people have such a tremendous following.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely agree with you. But I mean, it kind of also just shows how people in more of like the arts aren't really valued in society.
That's very true.
It's very true. And I mean, the work that gets put into people's videos, even Instagram posts, as silly as it sounds, it's a lot. And like, it just sounds silly because it's like, you're not dealing with numbers or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, these are still legit things.
Exactly.
So yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not like certain people who are literally just paid like
just for being
so much money just to like post a picture.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't feel like, I don't understand that. But at the same time, I think we need to stop being so judgmental of so-called influencers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Okay, my next one. You can support a political figure and still criticize them.
Indeed.
And this is something I feel very strongly about because recently, I mean, not even recently, I feel like this has often been a thing, but now people will choose a political candidate that they love and they will support them and like worship them no matter what they do, right? Yeah. And for me, so now let's just speak in terms of a president or I don't know, even like someone who's involved in parliament, whatever.
Yeah.
But they are civil servants, right? Their job is to serve the public's interests. And I feel like that's kind of been warped, especially, I mean, probably in South Africa too. I mean, I know there's a few people who support certain political parties
with their whole heart.
Exactly. And I'm like, okay, cool. But just think about it.
Yeah.
But like in America, what was I saying? In America, for example, like the president has kind of taken on this hero status.
Yeah.
Or he's going to come and he's going to solve
like
everything.
Yeah.
And it's not like that. It's not supposed to be like that. Yeah. And they shouldn't be celebrities either. So with that in mind, you can support a political candidate and say, hey, I like this person. I feel like they can do great things. But if they don't, and if they do terrible things, then you say, didn't like that. I don't think that was such a good idea. I think we need to stop with this hero worshipping. Yeah, genuinely.
I agree. And I also think like it's very interesting. Like we look at previous, even Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
Like if you really do reading up, you'll see that there were a lot of like active not oppression. You get active resistance,
yes.
A lot of active resistance that a lot of people would disagree with.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like he's passed and he's left this great legacy. And I'm not knocking Nelson Mandela now.
We're not doing that.
But something we have to realize is that politicians are still people.
Exactly.
And
they are going to make mistakes.
Yes. And it's important that you recognize that.
And they're not supposed to be these like incredible celebrity perfect people, they're there to serve our interests and that's how they should be treated and they should be upheld to those standards.
And the reality is that one person in power is not going to be able to change everything.
No.
Like,
And they have to make concessions as well. You know, it's a lot of compromise that goes into making political decisions. It's not as easy as saying, hey, I'm going to do this, and then just going to do that.
yeah,
It just doesn't happen that way.
yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, so I phrased this a certain way, but I'm going to explain it.
Okay.
So I said, I'm team Meghan and Harry.
Ooh,
Now,
the controversy.
I know, I have not seen one like good thing written about these people, except like by celebrities like Serena Williams. And
Yes.
it's like,
Go Serena.
yes. But here's the thing. Okay, so I am speaking in reference to this interview. So if you haven't seen the interview,
Go watch it.
go and watch it.
Or just Google snippets.
Yes, so they're everywhere
Yeah.
now. But a lot of people criticize them very heavily. It was very much like especially Meghan, like she's putting on a show.
Yeah.
She's an actress. Like all of this is lies.
Yeah.
And, you know, and to a certain degree, I do understand the criticism. But at the same time, I think there's a lot that has been taken away from
100%.
them. So, for example, the one thing that I think really bugged me most of all was just this idea of like maybe the way they played out their financial struggles. Because at the end of the day, like, struggle or not, or given how expensive security, etc., is, like, you are very well off.
Yeah.
Regardless of if mom and dad cut you off. kind of
Exactly.
thing, you know?
Exactly.
So that was my one, like,
Yeah. No, same. It kind of sat weirdly with me,
Yes.
especially living in a country like South Africa,
Yes.
you know?
exactly. But the two things that I found very telling, and I mean, I believe, I don't know why,
Yeah.
it's just like a gut feeling, I
Yeah.
suppose. But when she spoke about her struggles with mental health, a lot of people have said like that.
Oh, she's faking it.
Yeah, she's faking it. She's an actress. She's
Yeah.
dramatic. She wanted this all along, which is just
Okay.
wild. But for me, I think especially someone who has
Dealt with those feelings.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, my heart really was with her. And if you
Yeah.
think about someone being in the public eye and being so hated, and if you
Yeah.
don't believe me, just go and read
Yeah.
some of the British headlines.
It's awful.
And for these things to be like told and being said about you, and you physically have to just shut up and deal
Exactly.
in a house, you can't even go out. Like, for me, that is not
No,
not
I
okay.
agree with you.
And it's very hard for me to, a lot of people will be like, no, but they support mental health as a family, and they have their doctors on the premises. The reality is that they did reach out for help, like multiple times, and I find it hard to believe that that's something that they would lie about.
Yeah.
So for me,
Yeah.
that was one thing.
Yeah.
And then the racism thing. Now, a lot of people have said that they clearly don't understand racism and that the royal family is not racist.
Okay.
And here's my thing, like, I'm not going to look at members of the family and like flat out call them racist, because
Yeah. I'm sure, like, as individuals, they are nice people.
Yes.
Some of them.
but the reality is this, the one thing that Piers Morgan said, and I've heard so many people say,
Oh, Piers Morgan.
not
is
a
awful.
fan, not a fan. I think also the Queen just like made a statement saying people remember and perceive things differently.
Yeah.
And I get that. So a lot of people said, when this family member said, like, how dark will the color of your son's skin be? A lot of people said, well, maybe it was just a valid question.
A genuine question.
But the reality is, number one, who asks that question? Secondly, this is someone in Harry's family bringing this up multiple times. Surely he's not dumb.
Yeah.
You can pick up where someone's coming from, you know?
100%.
So that was, again, I was like,
Yeah.
the reality is, let's just say they aren't racist. That whole
It's still not
corporation
right. Yeah.
consists of white people. Like,
Exactly.
it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you can shout from the rooftops like you're not a racist.
But it's about, like, your actions.
Exactly. And so that's something that didn't sit right with me. And also just this whole idea of, I think the interview is very, very telling of, like, the monarchy is basically all about looking a certain way.
Exactly.
Like keeping this image.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
What is the point?
Just the idea that someone is even born into royalty.
I can't believe a monarchy still exists, to be honest.
Or just being born into poverty. Just being born into something. Like, for me, it's just wild.
I know.
Like, you just happen to be born...
I know.
In the right family, in the right place,
even like,
and now you have this power.
Yeah.
Or it's wild. So.
I just can't believe people are questioning the idea that the royal family like can be racist. You know, when it's an institution that is very much rooted in colonialism and imperialism. And also, I mean, if you just look at how Princess Diana was treated, for example, like it was also awful. So it's not difficult to understand that Meghan also would have been treated badly. But yeah, I think
that's enough of that.
That
was a mouthful, but that was, and like, listen, the whole royal vibe, I watched the royal weddings and I enjoyed them, etc. But it was more of a form of like an entertainment for me than like, I don't know how much power you can give someone without merit.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Okay, my next one is that singers and actors shouldn't be expected to be role models for children or for anyone really. And I think like what really got me to realize this was Lil Nas X's new music video for his song Call Me By Your Name. I haven't watched the full thing. I've seen snippets, so I've seen all the outcry.
I found it personally just very offensive, but I'm not like angry with him because like my whole world has fallen apart because I worship Lil Nas X.
Exactly, that's the thing. Like a lot of parents are saying, "Hey, like you're a children's singer because I know because so many people like so many children like the song." That song, Old Town Road. And like it is the reality that, I mean, a lot of children did support him after that because I don't know why they like that song, but anyway. But like if you actually look at the lyrics of that song alone, it's not a children's song. It's not a fun little song about riding a horse, you know. It's not. It's like he was never a children's role model. And so I think putting that pressure on celebrities, and especially young celebrities, I'll say, it is insane. A lot of those people just go into the industry because they want to sing, they want to act, it's their job, and they shouldn't be expected to hold up this ridiculous moral standard and whatever. And also like parents should be in charge of what like their young children see. You know, if you're really so concerned about your children seeing a music video, and I mean this is like his music video is not the first time that religious imagery, satanic imagery, etc. has been used. I mean, a lot of singers have used it before. And, you know, like, there's a lot of weird things out there. And so I'm saying, like, just, like, don't let your kid run wild on the internet.
I get you. I think what I find difficult is the person who's sitting behind a screen and heavily criticizing a celebrity but holding them to higher standards than you would yourself.
So true. And
I think we chatted a little bit about this in our cancel culture episode, which was episode
I can't even remember. 4, I think it was 4.
But I just think it doesn't make sense that because someone sings that they are like
this wonderful role model.
Yes. And obviously, like, I think even us having a platform now and like speaking, I take that seriously and I want to set a good example or whatever.
But not everyone wants to.
And that's the thing. It's like celebrities and etc. are on a pedestal, but who's put them there?
Exactly.
The millions of people following
They didn't
them.
ask to be there.
So I think we just need to make sure, and I'm guilty of this as well.
I mean, same. When someone does something stupid, I'm like,
why?
Should you have done that?
Or like it like breaks your heart a little bit.
But then it's also like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna take a step back there.
There are kids shouting next door, so
if you can
hear a little bit of that.
It's children playing, I promise.
Outside. Children playing outside.
They're getting
on the internet.
Exactly, and they're getting vitamin D the right way.
I hope they're wearing sunblock.
I hope so.
Cool. Is it me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't hate Taylor Swift.
Same, girl. I'm so glad you brought it up.
So here's the thing. For the longest time, I perceived her the way the media
the media.
the media made her out to be.
Yeah.
So she was the serial dater and this little blonde chickie
Yeah.
that just sang a bunch of whiny tunes.
Yeah.
And granted, I'm not a fan of
A lot of
a lot
music.
of her music.
Yeah, me neither, but that's fine.
But like recently, in just, I mean, she's been with the same person for like
5 years?
4 years or
Yeah.
something like that. So just to continue to like paint her as this like
Yeah.
wild child.
It's wild.
What's the deal? And I'm specifically mentioning her because she's generally an unliked celebrity.
But it's the patriarchy, I'm telling you.
Patriarchy. Everything's
Like,
the patriarchy.
honestly, at this point, if someone just doesn't like Taylor Swift, I'm just going to assume that they're sexist. Like,
I think. I mean, that's,
I'm kind of joking, but if, like, it's one thing to not like her music, right?
yes.
Everyone has
To
their own
not like
taste.
her as a person.
Yeah, just for, like, headlines that you've read,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense. There's
And-
nothing wrong with her. And she's
and
talented.
That's the thing. It's like what I came to realize is I look at a lot of celebrities that are her age, and I mean, guys, she's like 30 odd now. She's not
Yeah.
like 22. And I look at a lot of celebrities that have grown up, because that was very much our era of
Yeah.
music or whatever. And a lot of them have kind of fallen off the track or have been involved in projects that are kind of lame.
Yeah.
But what I appreciate about her is that she writes all of her own music. And it's
Yes.
literally about the music.
Exactly.
She doesn't, it's not about the money. It's not about the attention. She
Yeah.
writes music and sings
Yeah.
because she loves to do
Yeah.
it. And so, again, like I'm
Yeah.
not the biggest fan.
Yeah.
But like just the fact, like even just the idea of like she's taken the pop world by storm and she
And
took
she's
the country
been-
world by storm, and now
Yeah.
she's very much
And she's been
like
so consistent
folk
as
and-
well.
Yeah, it's like there's a new album
Yeah.
all the time.
And I mean, I really, really like her
Her
two recent.
latest 2 albums, I
Yeah.
also really do.
They're really lovely. But I mean, I think I definitely want to talk about Taylor Swift more, just in the sense of how women are treated
Yeah.
in the entertainment industry versus how
Versus
men are
men,
treated.
yeah.
Because like women are often just straight up demonized,
Yeah.
you know? And yeah, I think we can probably move on. Do you have anything else to
Yes.
say?
No, I just
Yeah, but I will want to talk about
Yeah.
this a lot more because it's something that really grinds my gears. Okay, so my next one, I feel like it's going to be a bit of a struggle to word this, but I'm going to try. Okay, so firstly, it's going to come in 2 parts. Firstly, people are fooled too often by big corporations who do the bare minimum. And what I mean by this is that they often like just push the blame, like let's say of plastic use, etc., onto the consumer. And the reality is that often you can like consume as little as possible of like fast fashion or whatever, and still and like there will still be ethical issues, you know, child labor, slavery, etc., etc.
yeah.
A lot of waste as well that comes from those industries. But now what a lot of corporations do is they will say, hey, we're not selling plastic bags anymore,
Yeah.
in the sense that they will use paper bags for you to take your groceries home. But the groceries are packaged in plastic. You know, I'm looking at you, Woolworths, but also sponsor me if you want. And also, like just taking H&M, for example, who are well known for their poor conditions in their factories.
Yes.
I say as I'm wearing one of their tops.
I am wearing an
It's terrible. It's terrible. We're all guilty of it. But anyway, and they say, oh, our clothes, we have this new line coming out and it's made of whatever percentage plastic, you know, recycled plastic. And I'm like, okay, cool. But like you're still putting out so much waste
Yeah.
into the earth, and you're still using like really bad conditions for your workers. So that being said, I think we all need to be more like cognizant about what we're consuming, but also realize that we need to put pressure on the big corporations to actually make any changes, because
Yeah.
ultimately it's not really up to us. But that being said, even though there is no ethical consumption under capitalism, If you haven't heard it, I'm not gonna like explain the whole thing now, but essentially,
we're gonna do a whole episode on this.
essentially most of the time you're always going to be supporting some kind
of
unethical things.
Yeah.
But that being said, it doesn't mean that you can just go and consume as much as you want.
Yeah.
There's still a line where, you know, there's still the whole thing of supply and demand.
Yeah.
The less demand there is, the less supply there is, if that even works. And I feel like we've all been indoctrinated so much into thinking that we need new things all the time. Like, I need to go and buy this new shirt, I need to go buy these new pants, I need to go buy these new shoes, whatever. And I feel like we just mustn't do that. And I know what you're going to say to me, like people can't afford to support ethical brands or local brands. And I'm like, fair enough, I can't afford it. I can't even afford it. But I say as if I'm rich, but it's
Even
just
I can't.
it's just a matter of consuming less. You know, if you have to go and shop at places like Cotton On, H&M, Zara, whatever, Zara, just don't buy so much.
Yeah,
you know, and I think that's just something to keep in mind. Consumerism is not a great thing. Like, even just for like your mind, for the earth. It's not a great thing, and we should all try to do less of it. And a great alternative is to shop local brands. A lot of them are just way more ethical, and also just shop secondhand. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's a lot of actually a lot more. It used to just be these very vintage stores. There's a lot of secondhand stuff online now, even just like Facebook Marketplace. My mom buys a lot of stuff on there now.
So there's a lot of different options for you, but so don't be fooled by big corporations, but also don't think that you can do whatever the heck you want. I mean, you can, but should you?
Yes, this is true. But I think there's a lot I actually want to say, but
we're going to have a whole episode on this.
And then my next unpopular opinion is, and granted, I am a sensitive person, and things people do irritate me, and I'm like, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't say that. But I've written here, people are too sensitive and look for things to criticize. Because I just feel like it's become so, people are under this lens, especially going back to like celebrities and stuff, and it's like you can't misstep, you can't say something, you might not even mean what you say, but it's
your
just
words
the
can
way
be misconstrued.
it's perceived, and I just feel like people need to have more grace.
Definitely.
And so, and this is also, I don't know how many people would know about this, but there was this whole huge controversy in the Bachelor world because the girl who ended up with a guy, she went to an Old South themed party a couple of years ago. So she was dressed up in that era, and she was at an old plantation farm.
Oh, hectic.
But I mean, again, she was in college, and she wasn't,
a while ago.
She wasn't cognizant of like the history behind things, and that doesn't excuse it. But I think we get confused with, we scream at people for their ignorance, but we should scream at people for their intention or their willingness, their unwillingness to learn.
100%.
And so like they ended their relationship over this, and it's been, people have hated on her so bad and so hard, like just flat out like she's racist and you can't be so ignorant living in this country, etc., etc. But at the same time, it's like, what was her intention? I doubt her intention was, it's not like they were slaves hanging around. And I 100% agree with, let's call her out but show her grace. And
give her space to learn.
Yes, the host of the show kind of said what I'm saying right now, but in a maybe less sensitive way. And so he had stepped down from the show that he's been a part of since 2003.
That's crazy.
So we need to show people more grace and stop looking for things to criticize people. Like even like people that irritate you in your daily circles. Don't look for things.
Exactly.
You know?
For me, the best thing to do, unfollow.
Exactly.
You don't need to surround yourself with things that irritate you. And like, once again, give people space to learn. We spoke a lot about this in our cancel culture. It's a good one. You should go listen to it. And it's called Cancelled.
Yes. That episode was not cancelled, despite what many people thought.
But I 100% agree with you.
Should we do one more each?
Okay, Flip. Choosing one is going to be difficult.
I know.
Okay. Okay, wait. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one. Okay. Modesty and purity culture perpetuate pornography and sex addictions.
All of which we will do another episode on.
We're going to do a whole episode on this because this is something that we both, I feel, feel kind of strongly about.
Yeah.
And there are going to be people who are going to take these words and they're going to think that I'm saying that modesty and purity full stop is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the culture surrounding it in the church is quite toxic, and in fact do perpetuate more the objectification of women, and also just this obsession that a lot of Christian people have with sex and with pornography and all of that kind of thing. And what I mean by this is let's say with modesty, for example. So now the Bible does speak about modesty. I'm not trying to say it doesn't, but it's more in the way people carry themselves, more in the way they present themselves. And I mean, sure, a lot of it is linked to clothes, but it's also to both women and to men. But what happens is that a lot of churches just take that and push modesty on women, and you can't wear those shorts, you can't wear clothes that expose your shoulders because you're going to be a stumbling block for men. And I hate that word, by the way, stumbling block, especially when it's applied to a person. But I think what that actually does, and it's not even it's not only churches who do this as well, it's also schools who do it. But you're telling boys that girls' bodies are for them. They're for them to be looked at. It's really a typical example of the male gaze. And I feel like if we just told everyone hey, present yourself in a modest way, it wouldn't be such an issue. But now boys are being told from such a young age that there is something to look at.
Which
at a woman
makes you curious.
Exactly. So obviously they're going to be like, what is this all about? Google. And then you run into a whole bunch of other problems. And I feel like it also leads to problems within relationships, Big time. But I will definitely want to speak more about this because I feel like it's a whole multifaceted issue.
It is indeed.
So if you have any thoughts about that, let me know. But don't shout at me, please.
Okay, my last one is, I think the minute you bring up gender, people are up in arms.
I'm already getting ready to fight.
Okay, so I'm not going to go into the whole topic of genders as a whole, but this whole gender neutral bathroom thing. I understand why people are calling for that.
Yeah, same. Absolutely.
At this point. However, and I suppose these are to the extremists, but this whole idea of let's make everything gender neutral, including a bathroom. So is there a need for separate bathrooms? As a woman living in South Africa,
I say yes.
Yes,
please.
There is a need for separate bathrooms. And so I fear the idea of everything being for everyone. Does that make me not a feminist? No.
Yeah.
But I'm just I'm very hesitant. I would not feel comfortable going into a bathroom with a guy, whether he claims he's a guy or he's not.
Yeah. I think, this is quite a complicated topic, especially when it comes to trans rights.
Yeah.
But
especially even just not being I can't put myself in the situation.
Exactly. But I think I've always thought one of the better things to do would be to have 3 different bathrooms, girls, boys, gender neutral. People can use the gender neutral if they feel more comfortable. But already, there are a lot of places that have gender neutral bathrooms, and I genuinely I'm scared of going into them, so just the idea of coming out of the loo and to wash my hands and there's a guy standing there. I don't like it. And I know a lot of women feel the same way. And it's really just the unfortunate thing of living in such an untrusting and violent society. But
and we end this episode the way we end everything, just be nice. Be so nice.
Be nice.
But that was just one of my things. I fear it.
I feel you, my dude.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to do a part 2 at some point.
We will. This was already
and a lot of these are also intros to full episodes. You say if there's things you want to hear more about.
Hit us up. Okay.
Yes, please like and subscribe. Tell all your friends.
You better.
we're not making money, but we put a lot of work and heart into the
Indeed.
things we say, because we want you guys to start having conversations
Yeah.
you wouldn't have had before.
Indeed. But yeah,
That is all.
thank you for listening.
Yes.
And we will see you the next episode.
Woo. Bye.
Bye.